Let's see if this work better. Man, Kev ain't even let me. I'm supposed to jump back on. Hold on, D.
Tap.
Brandon, what's happening? What's
I
good, family?
like what sis was saying, Josh. You know what I mean, and I love the advice. My thing to her would be we put a lot of energy into not just healing but other people. She was saying about toxic. We got to get to know self first.
Yeah.
Self. That is one of the easiest ways when you can find out who is your identity, what your identity is outside of what jobs or skills we have. You know what I mean? Like
Hmm.
that was a beautiful question she asked because we don't know how to heal. We don't know how. A lot of times it's because of lack of self identity. But I want to throw another topic out there because a lot of people don't know your side and the positive and the spiritual of Josh and things like that. One, your relationship with Kobe. Like a lot of people don't know how close y'all was. Two, I want to get your stance because I know it's kind of died down a little bit with the whole social injustice movement and
Hmm.
how now the league has embraced it opposed to when you was in there. So I just and the work that Stack Five is doing, definitely on the strength of his brother George Floyd. I just like to get your stance on that.
Yeah. I I think that I love the fact that so many are speaking up more so on all the issues that are going on in the communities. You know what
Definitely.
I'm saying? I think that it's definitely important. I think that um, it needs to be more of that and done responsibly. And
Def-
it can't be just people that look like you and I.
right.
It has to be a collective in all walks of life. Like if you are an American, then you need to stand up for what you feel is right. And I think too, there's a misconception about how to be able to support. You
Right.
don't you don't just have to protest. You can have a conversation in the privacy of your home. You can get on Instagram Live and do it. You know what I'm saying? You can get a group of your friends to meet up, and then y'all can fellowship and talk about the different things and how you can make a stance in your community or how you can better your community by doing that. You can read, you can research. It's just so many things that you can do and how you can participate for those who are more open and willing to stand up and be frontline type of people. Um, because protesting isn't for everybody.
Right.
Having a conversation isn't for everybody. Some people might just want to donate to a charity of their choice.
Right.
But there's different ways that everybody can go about doing it, and I'm proud of everybody that's doing what they've been doing. Salute to Stack, salute to Matt Barnes, salute to LeBron, salute to a lot of guys. So not just NBA but NFL. Just salute to everybody that's doing their part. Um, and I think people need to understand more that they have more power than they put on, because you never know. You might be able to connect two people, and they might be able to go out here and do something and make change. And it's important. We can't feel or think that our words or our presence doesn't have as much power or stance that of the next person just because they might be celebrity or this, that, and the third. Like I'm not a believer of that. Like it takes any and everybody to be able to do it. And then one thing that I tell people, no matter what the subject is, no matter what the topic is, you have to educate yourself. Be willing to open your mind,
Right.
be willing to look things up, go on the internet, go into a library. There's a lot of information that's out there. I posted some stuff today, you know what I'm saying, about the whole COVID thing and all of that. And it's only, I like, I'll post whatever, bro, because I don't care. Because at the end of the day, it's to get people to get their wheels turning, to get them to start thinking and seeing for themselves. And then maybe they'll do some research on their own to start asking a lot of those questions. You know
Definitely.
what I mean? Like that's the part that's important. Like this past year, especially with the pandemic and everything going on, man, I was out there every day. You
Right.
know, and I was protesting. I brought my kids out there so they can feel that energy. Um, I was feeding the homeless. I was feeding the less fortunate. I was posting every day. I was on calls, like connecting people, you know what I'm saying? Doing interviews, having those hard conversations, getting groups of people of all walks to come together and talk about uh,
Right.
police brutality, racism, a lot of these different topics, you know what I'm saying? Um, I had some buddies of mine having conversations with police officers so that people I was doing this thing with a gentleman by the name of Keith Strickland, and we were on Rolling Out, and we had all kind of different guests on. But I remember one time we had some officers on, good officers, because people need to see that too, and they were breaking down what they go through on a day in day out basis, and it just gives people a different way of thinking about it because obviously they give police a hard time, but then you should hear from guys who putting their life on the line every day to kind of see what they're going through. you know
Right.
it's just a lot of things that people can do to open up their mind, man, and start asking questions, because it's a lot of things that don't make sense across the board. You know what
Right.
I'm saying? And whether it's the pandemic, whether it's how the pandemic's being handled, um, whether you got some doctors who say wear a mask, you got other doctors saying don't wear a mask. Whether one minute it's only black people can't get the coronavirus, to now it's only for older people and
Right.
kids. To oh shoot, we got an African strain out now. To man, it's just all kind of stuff, and people just have to just pay attention, open your minds, and educate, and stop thinking that. Um, just because somebody's speaking different, that means that they own that conspiracy theory type stuff. And I think it's interesting anytime somebody speaks something that's different than the norm, that it's always a conspiracy or some type of theory. You know what I'm saying? Like, you gotta
Right.
open minds up. You gotta really see and understand a lot of the things that are going on, even with this whole presidency and the other things that are going on. I know people had their feelings about Trump, just like I know people had their feelings about Biden. But at the end of the day, do your research. Be understanding of what's going on. Be understanding of the games that's being played. Be understanding that the media can feed you a version of a story that they want you to know. I'm sure that people don't even know that the media is ran by four different groups, and I don't even think that they know who the Rothschilds are, the Rockefellers, or like, bruh, educate.
And
You
that
know what I'm saying?
that's why I throw that at you, Josh, because I know me and you, we innovative thinkers, we're study. I tell people all the time, being conscious don't mean always being aware. You know what I'm saying? We throw that word out there so much. And like I say, getting to know my brother over the last couple of years, it's been a blessing because your mind work like mine. You always looking at what's not on the surface. You always going behind the scenes and, shooting that pay attention out different, man. And I gotta say this. I'm proud of you because I'm, definitely having that link to Jamie. I've seen a lot of the work that's been done in the background, and you're not one to just put it out there for the notorieties, the likes, the fame. You always been a genuine dude and do it from your heart, man. You've always been that universal builder to bring us all together, no matter what color, creed. You know what I'm saying? You always been the one to judge a man by his character. So I appreciate your voice out there, man. I appreciate, you using not just your celebrity platform or status, but your heart, because that's all ever known you to speak from. So when I talk about these things and I ask, like, I think a lot of people don't know that side of Josh. We get on the sports side, but you so much deeper than that. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, it came from them close talks we had, man. And I appreciate that. That's why, my next question was, like I say, your relationship with Bean. You know what I'm saying? You one of the dudes that you don't throw that out there, but I know that connection. I know how different it went. I've been sitting back just looking at everybody's little tribute, after the 1 year, man. Just wanted to hear you speak a little bit more on that, the genuineness of y'all.
Well, first and foremost, man, I love you too, King, and I'm humbled by your words, man. I'm truly humbled, you know what I'm saying, by your words. I feel that one of the reasons why I do move the way that I move is because I've been the person that's been overlooked. I've been the person that's been, devalued. I've been the person that's been handled a certain way or fucked over, for lack of better terms. And I've gone through so many things and experienced them, man, and I still have my fair share of experience in it. And it's funny because playing the game of basketball, people only look at you and view you in only one type of way. Like when people see me, they see a black man covered in tattoos. I get a lot of the stereotypes and stigmas and everything else going on until people get a chance to really open, have a conversation with me, and then I open my mouth, and then they can see how my mind or my heart works.
Right.
Um, and I've taken it upon myself as I've gotten older, as things have gone on, and especially with my experiences, where I'm going to be a voice, I'm going to be a person that serves, I'm going to share my experiences because there's healing in that for somebody. There's something somewhere where I know I can help somebody because again, I'm somebody that has been through so many different things and people wouldn't understand or know that. We just had a mental health gala, and I started to open up more about the mental, the emotional, the physical abuse, the sexual abuse that I experienced when I was younger,
Yeah.
all of those different things. You know what I'm saying? And these things are things that have shaped and molded me, but on the flip side, it hasn't made my heart cold.
Right.
It hasn't put me in a position where I still uh, I still peep people, and I'm very observant, and I'm very careful with the energy that I surround myself with.
Right.
Now, as a disclaimer, sometimes I get that right, and sometimes I don't. You know
Hmm.
what I'm saying? But I'm still human. I'm still trusting the process, and I'm still going through the process.
Right.
But I'm willing to share my experiences because I want people to know that if you do fall, get your ass up, keep trying, keep pushing. That is what success is about. Like we have the wrong idea about success, and for me, success looks like, from my standpoint, when I think of somebody like myself or somebody that looks like me, being a good human being, being a great person, being somebody who's a stand up male or female, you know what I'm saying? Representing, being the king and queen that you are, being a person that operates on honesty, integrity, you know what I'm saying? Like being someone that's loyal, someone that works off of principle, moral or value. You know what I'm saying? Like you don't allow people to get you, like you're not a shapeshifter because you're trying to roll with the crowds. Like you don't mind being by yourself and standing on your own too. You can't be bought. You
Right.
can't you can't have people that could just come and throw you a bag and have you spread your legs, or the type of guy that just because you have power, you misuse that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like being a good father, being a good mother, being a good spouse if you want to be in a relationship, being a good friend, being a good teammate, whatever that looks like, that is success to me.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You can't put no dollar amount on that because, again, there's so many people out here operating um,
Falsely.
because of the money, because of the status, because of the other things, and they not operating from a sense of self worth, a sense of love. You know what I'm saying? Like they're not operating from a place of integrity, man. So I say all that to say in the next breath that I feel that those are a lot of the reasons why I had the relationship that I had with Bean. You know what I mean? Like Bean was the type of guy, like he was a no nonsense type of guy, and he liked people who stood up. He ain't like none of that soft shit. You know what I'm saying? He wanted guys that was down, that will run through the same wall he ran through.
Right.
You know what I mean? And that's not based on your talent.
Right.
You know, a lot of guys feel like you got to respect somebody because of the talent levels, but there are some guys, man, whose talent is way better than others, but they're best friends with some of the other people because of their work ethic, because of how they carry themselves, because of the type of professional that they are. Like those are the things that are important. You know what I mean?
Right.
And for me, you know, I was able to, and it was great to see what he did on the court, but it was a blessing to see what he did off the court. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
listen, man. One of the things that I respect about him and why I feel like he's one of the best to do it, and people don't want to touch on it, but God bless it. You know, that man in the 20 plus years that he played, you know, the one knock against him obviously was the thing that happened in Colorado,
Right.
right? So the fact that that man went through all of that, still, you know what I'm saying, performed and did the things that he did. He rebranded himself.
Right.
Um, and I'm sure it wasn't easy at home, but he took it one day at a time, man. And the interesting part is the way that he lived his life and the things that he did do. Um, People don't talk about what he did at that time. People don't talk about how he fell short. Like that's something that doesn't really come up.
Right.
And that's the thing that I think is so dope because my kids, unless they Google it and really be searching for it because they heard something, they'll never know that side. You know what I'm saying? They'll never even know about that moment that happened.
Right.
And that's what's so special and what I appreciate about learning because I watched him as a husband.
Mm.
I watched him as a father. I watched him as a friend, a brother, a teammate. I seen how he showed up for people. I ain't talking about me. I'm talking about the grand scheme of things. And that's why I think it hurt everybody the way that it did, because that man was showing up for folks.
Right.
He found a way to make 24 hours seem like 160 in one day
Right.
because of how he was moving and how he was touching folks.
Right.
And that's what I appreciate about being, you know what I'm saying? And that's what I love about Holmes, you know, and I think it's dope too. Like, look at now, like Powell is taking a whole different role on because, you know, he down there like the man of two different families because of how he's showing up for them.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? During this time, man, and I think that's beautiful, man. And I hope that everybody can have a friend or a family member that'll hold them down the same way.
Definitely. My last one, man, I think this is important too. And I'm gonna get out the way just in case anybody else. I want you to talk about, you talked about the different business adventures, and the one that's important to me is not because of our connection to the game of basketball, but I think, knowing a lot of my young boys, especially Zoe still talk about you to this day. You know, I think that training aspect, that you start now, that business part of your life is important because the younger guys don't, to me, it's not enough of you guys, giving back. And I know a lot of kids that work with you, they get more than on court stuff. Talk about that, man, the impact you starting to have on these young guys that, you're training and, you're giving them the game, not just on the court, but off the court.
I think it's important for anybody that's been in that place. I remember when I was coming out, and one of the OGs that I always used to see all the time, especially in college, was Chucky Brown.
Right.
And first of all, somebody that's been there, and he, from a league standpoint, but also too an NC State guy. And he was just always willing. Like he would hoop with us, but he was just somebody that was just always willing to open up and share. In life, it is so important to have people that's like that. And I feel like the fall off and the disconnect is because we don't have enough of the OGs really looking after the younger generation and really sharing and giving that game.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like we don't have enough people that's willing to stand up and really do their thing. Now that's not me saying we don't have people. That's not what I'm saying for those who are listening.
Mm.
We do have people, but we don't have enough of those people because For every OG that's real and that's solid, you're gonna have 4 or 5 that's coming out that's on some bullshit.
Right.
And these are who the people are following. And I ain't even talking about on no training shit or nothing like that. I'm
Right. Right.
talking about way past that.
Right.
Because the younger generation needs that game. That's why grandparents are so important,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Right.
Grandparents are so important, man, but we don't have enough grandparents. For one, a lot of people are dying young. God rest their souls. We got a lot of people that's dying at 48, 50, 55. So then that's missing. But then there's also the disconnect because a lot of the grandparents and those people, they just don't want no parts.
Right.
So I say all that to say, like with me and what I try to do, not try, but what I make sure that I do is whenever we doing training is also a part of the life lessons. Because I know what basketball, I know what, first of all, sport has given me and how much it's teach me in life by playing sports. And it saved my life because of all the bullshit I was going through growing up. It gave me an out.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And I've been dealing with things since a kid, but it's like people don't know because you learn to function. And that may not always necessarily be the best thing, right?
Right.
That's the thing that was so crazy and evident when you look at guys in the NBA, for example, who was starting to come out more and talk about their mental health and all of that. And it's like people don't look at them as human beings because why? They got all this money. They're still averaging 20, 30 points a game. Oh, ain't nothing wrong with them. You have no idea.
Mm.
But just because guys who are built different and they understand how to move, that still don't mean that they ain't suffering inside.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And it's hard. And it's hard, like, bro, it's hard being a man, but it's double hard being a black man. It's hard, bro. It's hard as fuck. And it's no shade to our queens, and it's no shade to our black women either. But it ain't nothing like being a man and then you have all of those expectations and everything else, the pressures that you deal with that come with being a man. And then if you don't check off all of those, then you're gonna feel a way about being a man, right? You might have 10 things on your list,
Right.
but you can knock out 9 out of the 10, but there's gonna be that one person who's gonna say you ain't do number 10, and then you fucking fold because you feel a way because it's like, damn, man, I protected, I provided, but I ain't do this. That wasn't enough. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And to my kings, like, it ain't enough to protect and provide. That's a whole nother conversation because that's surface level. You feel me? Just like for women, it ain't enough to be nurturing or loving or cook, clean, take care. Like that's surface level. Like
Right.
especially when you talking about a kingdom, an empire, and all of that. But that's another topic. You know what I'm saying? But to answer your question, that's those are the reasons why I got into training. That's the reason why, with my foundation doing the work that I've been doing, that's the reason why I'm so heavy on relationships and that topic.
Right.
That's why I come, you know what I mean? Like, and now, talking about the mental health stuff and everything else, man, like this started a couple of months ago. Um, just because I was like, man, let me come on here and check on everybody else. It ain't got
Right.
shit to do with me. And it just started to grow and it started to go left because we just started talking about a whole bunch of things, man. And I never make it about me. It's about the people. That's why always when I started off, I'm like, yo, what do y'all want to talk about? What are the topics? You know what I'm saying? Let's get to them. And it don't matter how tough or controversial, but we gonna dig in and we gonna keep it a buck because that's what's important. And that's the only way to grow. You know what I'm saying? That's the only way to bridge that gap and get better. So, that these are the reasons, man, why I do the things that I do because I want to serve. You know what I'm saying? And I want to, be the best example that I could be to those who are watching. Most importantly, to my kids because they see me fall short. They see me do a lot of bullshit, bro.
Right.
I'm just being honest. You know what I'm saying? Like, but I talk them through it, and then I also follow it up with, I want to make sure y'all do better. Like we're gonna have them conversations,
Right.
and it ain't no shame with me, dog, because it ain't nothing for me to be ashamed of, man. I'm a human being.
That's
I'm a
it.
human being, bro. I ain't no different. You know what I'm saying? Like, and the way I'm talking and how I'm moving, man. It took, I just had a birthday a week and a half ago. It took me 38 years to get to this.
Right.
It ain't nothing easy, bro. And the process still continues because I'm gonna be different at 40.
Right.
And when I get to 40, I'm gonna be different at 50.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Just continuing to elevate, man, and rise above it, dog. Like, ain't nobody perfect. I don't give a fuck how that shit might look. You can have 200 million in the bank. You can have $200 in the bank. It ain't got nothing to do. It ain't got nothing to do with none of that. You know what I'm saying? Like, what's your spirit like?
Come on.
What's your mind like?
That's
You
the
know what I'm
but
saying? What's the emotions hitting on? Can you think for yourself? Can you walk away from a job that might be paying you 150,000, but your heart might not be in it? You
right.
know, can you walk away from that relationship, or can you ask that person for forgiveness?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a lot of that, bro, that has to do with growth, man. And growth is a scary place, man, especially for our black community, dog, because we continue to make excuses and bullshit. We continue to lean on that crutch and suffer through pain, and it's easier that way.
Right.
It's easier to gang up, man, and team up and say you don't like this one and you ain't fucking with that one. You know what I'm saying? It's easier to, when you're going through some hard shit, that the people that's supposed to be your friends and hold you down, they gonna always tell you, bro, shit, let's fuck something. Let's go drink on something. Let's go do this and go do that. You know what I
Right.
mean? They ain't gonna tell you like, hey, bro,
That ain't
you
what that
need a
is.
hug or something. You want to pray?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Or you just like I'm here to just listen, bro. Scream, vent, do what you got to do. Or shit, bro. I know this therapist, man. Like, holler at him.
Right.
You know, and the same thing for women. You know, I ain't just talking about the men. It's both sides of it, bro. Because we ain't got enough real ones. You know what I'm saying? We ain't got enough people that's willing to do their part. And it takes the village, bro. Like, when I used to hear that growing up, I'm like, man, what the fuck that mean? You know what I'm saying? But then going through, being married, divorced, kids, dealing all the shit I got going on, bro. And it's like, it do take a village, and then you got to work on your village. You know what I'm saying? You got to try to get people on the same page and all of that stuff, bro, because you can't do the shit by yourself.
Right.
I know like a lot of people, you know what I'm saying, that I've been around or whatever, like, they don't think like me. They
Right.
don't view life the way that I view life, and that's okay. I also know that I'm not meant for everybody, bro. You know what I'm saying? I'm not everybody's cup of tea, and I get that too.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? Some people's presence, man, might cause people to feel away, dog, and vice versa. It ain't just. I ain't talking about me specifically. I'm just saying in general,
Right.
and that's me understanding that. But one thing I will tell you is I'm gonna stand on my 2 feet no matter what.
Mm.
People can talk shit. People can say what they want to say, bro. I know who I am as a man, and I can be proud of that. Mistakes and all. I'm
Definitely.
gonna own my shit. Ain't nobody gonna be able to tell me nothing about myself, that I ain't doing this or I ain't doing that. I'm gonna own mine, dog.
Got
Straight up. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I'm doing the things that I'm doing, the work that I'm doing, and even, like, when we come on here, bro. Like, I told them folks when we was on here a couple of days ago, I'm like, man, I view this shit as church. It's like a congregation, bro. Let's keep growing. Let's keep building, man, because it's just important to see how people vibe. You know what I mean?
you. Right.
It's just important to see people vibe, man. And it's beautiful when you start seeing people really elevate, grow, think different, and all of that kind of stuff. You know what I'm saying? So salute to you, King. If you got to come on. We just got to be on here more often, man. I got to figure out a way to set it up where it's just
Yeah.
more consistent, from maybe pick a day or a couple of days out the week, man, and we just build and go from there, man. But I always come on here. It'd be random, but I like checking on people, man.
Definitely.
Um, especially, bro, because this pandemic shit been so crazy. We're not able to live our normal lives. Um, relationally, things are falling apart. Business wise, things are falling apart. Personally, things could be falling apart for any and everybody. And that's why I came on here and just wanted to do this. You know what I'm saying? That's why this is so important, man. So I appreciate you because you took you went and took a left turn on the political vibes, bro. You know what I'm saying? We
But
wasn't talking.
I gotta say this, man. Like I said, I'm gonna get out the way. Josh, I always say this, man. And Jamie will tell you this. You've been called for this time, man. You got a voice that one you've never been afraid to use, and it's needed. And salute to you, King. And it's always love because you got it, Josh. The torch is there, and the humbleness is even more. So, it's not just about me, King. Like you say, you do it for the people, man. You always been one of those dudes that's not afraid to share your pain, that it might help somebody else. And you got to keep going, big brother, because like I say, it's your time, it's your platform. I love you and salute, man. Keep doing what you're doing. And I promise you I'm going to be tapping in more often.
Bet that, King. Appreciate you, family. Love you too, brother. Tell everybody I said what's happening, man. Good
Definitely,
one.
definitely.
Good one, man. Appreciate that.
I'm with you.
Already.
All right.
Yanni B, my bad. I missed out on a lot of comments, man. But hey, let's see here. I got to hit my partner back. Let me finish this thing up.
We back?
Yeah, we
Yo,
back.
he set the tone. That's what's up. He set the tone. He set the tone. He said a lot. Like I got like a little ebook over here. Like while he was writing, I was just taking notes, like notes on top of notes. So thank you for that. Definitely salute. Definitely salute him. And a lot of stuff that I picked up from him. It's like you got to get to know yourself. You got to get you got to get to know yourself. What's up, Joe? What's up, Joe? Josh, you see Hibachi Joe just jumped on.
I see.
But yeah, so
Partner.
what's next? He set the tone. He said a lot. Like and one of the things that I really got from him is like we gotta learn how to really know ourselves, especially now because social media is feeding us what they want us to eat, not necessarily what it is that we need to be eating, especially as a culture. We gotta get in where we fit in, even if we may not be the leaders. Like I'm coming in to support whatever, support what I stand for. And we gotta do that. Even as it relates to our kids, we gotta stand because kids are going through a lot of stuff now that sometimes the parents overlook. You know what I'm saying? We
Should
kind of like, uh-huh.
I don't mean to cut you off, but I gotta say something about that point. And the reason why the parents are overlooking is because they too busy in themselves.
Absolutely.
We not paying attention to our kids because we too busy trying to live, which I'm not saying, and I'm a parent, so please don't get me wrong. Anybody that's listening that got kids, you definitely got to take care of yourself first. So I'm not saying that's all about being healthy, because if you're running on E, you have no way in no way, shape, or form can you parent at a high level when you're on E. So you got to take care of yourself first, but that's not what's going on.
Absolutely.
They taking care of themselves first, second, third, fourth, and fifth,
Absolutely.
and allowing these kids to fend for themselves, not spending no quality time, not being present. I
Absolutely.
mean, shit, like a small thing, just like having dinner at the table. Think about that.
Agree.
Kids nowadays, everybody eating in their rooms, going their separate ways. And that, what kind of, you know what I'm saying? What kind of shit are we building doing that? When you
Absolutely.
can have a conversation and break down your day. Even, you know what I'm saying, for parents who are super busy, right? And I get it, right?
Mm-hmm.
But even if you took that 30-minute window to eat together and have a conversation, what could that do? Or let's take it a step further. Tucking your kids in bed at night. Tell them good night. Maybe you can have a conversation. And if you got multiple kids, then take the time to have that time alone with each kid as you're tucking them in. I know that's something that I do for sure. I'm praying, like, for example, I pray with my boys.
That's what's up.
We have a conversation. You know, I do the individual prayer with each one.
That's dope.
Every blue moon we might do a group prayer, but I do individual, um, and it's something different for each one, and we vibe differently. I make sure I'm giving hugs, I'm giving kisses,
That's what's up.
um, and that's not easy for me to do either, considering things that I've gone through in my past. But I just try to make sure that I do that for them and show up for them in that way. For my girls, same thing. We got to have these conversations. We got to talk. Like, I encourage them, pray, man, stay focused. Just have those conversations, because it's important. And I might have a whole busy day and be ripping and running, but taking 5 minutes out your day, man, it could seem like 5 hours if you do it right.
Absolutely.
And we gotta break these generational curses. We gotta stop making these excuses, man, because we're losing our kids each and every day because of us as adults being on the dumb shit.
I believe. Listen, I'm all for it. Like right now, that's all my life consists of. Like I'm always the third wheel. I have two sons, but of course one of my sons is incarcerated. The other one, like I'm his third wheel. Like I'm at his disposal. Like I'm always with him and his girlfriend. And so we have a bond that is absolutely crazy. And actually, like I've devoted my life. Man, I'm about to tear up. Man, hold on, let me
I'll
get my
speak, Queen. You ain't got to listen, man. The real talk,
because
but this what this about though. Like, you gotta be willing to be vulnerable and do that.
absolutely
Because the reason why I say that is because for me it takes a lot for me to get there. I've been robbed of that. I've
wow.
been I've been robbed for the opportunity to be able to be in touch. Like, and I can be in touch emotionally, but
Mm-hmm.
I've gone through so much shit and the numbness and everything else that I don't really feel pain because it's become normal.
Right, Joe.
So if you feel that, you feel me, like, you got to stand on that. And I think that's a beautiful thing because that shows strength. Like, I didn't, you know what I'm saying? I didn't know about your son. I can't imagine what that feels like. You know what I mean? But I do know what it's like to lose a child. I've lost a child.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? And um,
Hmm.
it's a pain that I don't know how to put uh, words to it or anything like that. But um, because again, like the game of basketball and things like that, I don't have time to grieve, like, and just really um, process, what that felt like at that time. And that's another reason why I got so many tattoos and I'm covered the way that I am, is because that's my way of just moving on and moving forward. So I don't understand I don't understand what that feels like. So, for people who want to, express emotion or do certain things, man, do that. You know what I'm saying? Because my well is pretty much dry. And then if I do shed a tear or something, it it's it's normally from a place of so much anger
Mm-hmm.
and so much um, rage because of the shit that I experience or go through.
Right.
And I'm constantly holding it in to save face because of what people need for me to be or how it needs to look. You know what I'm
Absolutely.
saying? So we all sacrificing and doing the things that we need to do, but I also need to learn and understand, like, it's okay to sacrifice but not suffer.
That's powerful. Oh my gosh. That's powerful. It's okay. And I often tell people all the time that no longer will suffering be my payment for pain for the stuff that I went through. Like why am I still suffering? But that's so powerful. And I believe that, you know, through these conversations, we're beginning to build the village back up, because now we get to hear the male's perspective. We get to hear the female's perspective, and just the things that everybody has went through. And no matter if you're a celebrity, if you are, you know what I'm saying, you local in your town, we all hurt. Grief is like a universal, it's like a universal language. It's a universal language. But like, I have dedicated my life to my children. I've dedicated my life. I started businesses with them, for them. All of this stuff that I do now is for them. It's to build legacy, because all I wanted to do was be a nurse. That's all I ever wanted to do. So all of the business and all of that stuff, when my son, when them doors open from my son, like he never has to go and apply for a job. He has a corporation, he has an LLC that's already set up. And a lot of people don't understand the sacrifices that you have to make as a parent. And sometimes the sacrifices look a little bit different according to whatever your situation might be. You know what I'm saying? It just looks different. But I will say this, like, I carry kids. I carry kids in my heart. And I said, I may not be able to reach my son, but if I reach somebody else, maybe somebody else can reach back and grab mine. You know, because sometimes, like with my oldest son, he kind of is like, he's used to me. He's like, "Mom, I hear you, but I need my dad." But like, dude, his dad blew his brains out when he was 8 years old. And so I'm just like, I'm doing all I can. Like, I really feel like I'm stretched. But I love the village. I love the support system that I have. Like, all of the people that support in any way. Like Joe talking about the lemonade. Like, the lemonade still goes. The lemonade still goes. I created that business for my children, to keep them out of trouble. But we got to heal, y'all, as parents, because a lot of the kids are going through the mental torment that we put them through, because we refuse to heal. You know, we've been through these bad relationships, or we went through stuff with our parents, or whatever the case may be, and we didn't heal, because mental health hasn't always been a popular thing to talk about, but now it's a hot thing. And so we got to get it. We have to be healed. We have to give our children the gift of being healed, of being healthy and being whole, you know, because for a few years, I'll say this, and I checked out. I checked out for, I know, at least 3 years. I checked out. I checked out just because I'm just like, I don't know how to deal with, like, I'm a widow at 29. I don't know nothing about burying no husband. I don't know. I didn't know. And so what I did in my mind was, it was like, I pretended that he was going out over the road and he was coming back. I did that for 3 years. I did it for 3 years. So for those 3 years, it was almost like I checked out on my kids. I checked out. You know, I never been a bad mom. I never beat them or nothing like that, but I checked out. And so what happens is, and what's happening now, is a lot of parents have checked out because of the pain, and we refuse to deal with it. So the kids are catching it. And we ain't even thinking about that. We ain't even thinking about that keeping the kids away from their dad is actually hurting them. And when we have our own agendas with the dad, like, we can't do that. We can't do that. No matter what's going on between us, you still got to allow them to build that relationship. Allow them to see their dads.
So what's interesting too, though, is, and I think a lot of people don't understand this, and this shrinks the numbers down a lot more. A lot of people who do have both parents, and they live in the household, are still being fed toxicity.
Yeah.
And a
And
lot of
people
people don't understand that, because a broken home is a broken home.
absolutely.
It doesn't necessarily mean a broken home has to look like, mom and dad not living in the same house, because there's people who are in the same house that ain't on the same time frame.
At all.
And that's the other part that's difficult, because when you talk about raising kids and not being on the same type of vibe, or at least close to it, That's another thing that's damaging our youth, that's damaging these kids. And then when you add the fact of people not being present, it's the emptiest, it's one of the worst feelings in the world, man, is to feel like a stranger in your own home. And we got, not only from a relational standpoint, but again, there are kids who go home in these environments and they dealing with the shit that they dealing with, and they don't have nowhere to turn. And how does that feel when the people that you're supposed to trust are the people who are doing you the worst?
Absolutely.
And that's how I grew up. So it's like, talking about those things early on, it's like how, and that's why sports was important to me.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And that's something that definitely saved my life and helped me out, because it was an out, it was an avenue, it was a way, um, for me to feel some type of love and feel, some type of brotherhood or something.
Mm-hmm.
Because what I had been experiencing, it didn't look like that. It didn't feel like that. And I see now, like, even, and it has to be done both ways. And I understand, women, that you're frustrated with us. I understand that you're upset with us. We're not handling things in the way that you might see or feel that we should. We might, not, we might have done something that you feel like can't be forgiven. We might not be the best as partners or whatever, but when you decide to have a child, we have to be more mature and in a better space to understand that it's about these kids. Same thing with the men. We got to get off the bullshit, man, and stop blaming the women as the reason as to why you're not making an effort to pick up your fucking phone and call and check on your kids, to even try to see them. We got to stop making these excuses. We got to really do what we need to do, because if you say you love your children, man, then fight for them. Fight for that. And
Right.
then lastly, do it together. You know what I'm saying? Like, co-parenting could be something that's dope if people allow it to be. But we keep making, you know, we keep using kids to make the other suffer, and that's not always the best, man, because it, the kids are the one who lose out the most. And we have a responsibility, man. I just challenge our queens, like, understand, like, we're human too. And we deserve grace. We deserve, you know what I'm saying, mercy. We deserve forgiveness. I've
Absolutely.
seen all kind of stories, man, where a man has killed somebody's wife, or done this to this one, or done, and you got people that forgive. You know what I'm saying? It's not easy. It ain't for everybody. I get it. But if you trying to unlock your true power and release that other BS,
Right.
you got to be able to forgive, and you got to understand what the purpose is and what it's really about. I really don't understand people that say and talk this shit talking about they love their kids, men or women.
Absolutely.
But you doing the stuff that you doing, you moving the way that you moving, you going about life the way that you going about it, and your kids are suffering and they're damaged, and they grow up to be teenagers who are damaged, who grow up to be young adults who are damaged, who grow up to be adults who are damaged, and then they get with another damaged adult and then have another damaged child.
Trauma bonding. Yeah, that's true. And so it's like a vicious cycle that never ends. So it's almost like tonight, I don't know who it is, or it may not be whoever's going to watch the replay. Like, take the time to heal. Take that time to heal. And so you can get back in the game. Like, a lot of people are suffering from depression, and a lot of people are committing suicide just because they feel like they can't handle the pressure. Like, just deal with it. Like, talk to somebody. Like, we're not superheroes. Like Josh said, we are human. We're human, and we feel, we go through things, but there is a way. It's a way to do everything. It's a way to do everything. And if we don't stop it now, we're going to pass it down to our children and our children's children, because big homies are waiting. The world is waiting to give your child an assignment. If we don't take the time to heal and we constantly brushing them off, and I don't like you because you look like your daddy, because you act like your daddy, I don't like this, I don't like that, get out my house, all of this stuff. The world has an assignment for them, and the world ain't really they're not really friendly to our kids right now. You got a big homie that's looking for a fall guy to go and knock somebody off, and he going to prison for life. He's going to prison for life just because we didn't take the time out to actually sit down and talk to him, or sit down and see how their day was. So now they're plotting and making bombs and doing all kind of stuff in their rooms with the doors closed.
Yeah. God bless you, Queen. I see your spirit is heavy, man. Just know I'm praying for you, man, and I salute you. You know what I'm saying? Because it takes strength
Absolutely.
to do what you've been doing to set your kids up. You know, it takes strength to be a mom of a son who's incarcerated. Um, it just takes strength to be a single mother. And the fact that, you know, your husband committed suicide and your story, God bless you, because there's a lot of people out here, man, that think that they got it bad, and it's no shade to them.
Right.
You know, that doesn't mean that everybody's not dealing with things, but
Right.
I feel like another reason why we're lost is because we don't put stuff into perspective either.
That's right.
And we got to be understanding, like, the grand scheme of things, man. If you woke up this morning, if you still have life in your body, if
Absolutely.
you have a roof over your head, if you got clothes, if you got water, you know what I'm saying, then he's not done with you yet. You know, and that goes for any and everybody. And I'm not just talking about people with roofs over their head. I'm talking about people who are homeless too, who are going through things. You know, they still have life in their body. God is not done with you yet. Stay faithful.
Not
You
done.
know, continue to trust, continue to believe, because there's so many beautiful stories of people that come from nothing and they make it.
Absolutely.
Somebody does something and look out and gives them a chance, and everybody just needs a chance. Everybody just needs somebody who's gonna believe. So God bless you. You know what I mean? And
Absolutely.
you know, keep doing what you're doing. You know, you've been one of the people who've been an inspiration, especially how um, you know, voice yourself and your thoughts. You know, it's refreshing to see another human being, you know, with that type of energy and vibe, and so passionate. Um, and again, you know, just keep doing what you're doing. You know, I see a lot of people on here that are going through things that they're going through, and they continuing to serve, man. And I'm grateful for everybody that tunes in.
I
You
see my
know,
pastor phone.
who your pastor at? Which one is your
um,
pastor?
I say something, Pastor Sammy, if you still on here.
The one that say Sam the servant?
Yeah, that's my.
Oh, we
That's
coming to your church, bruh. All these stories I've been hearing, Sam the servant. Hey, we got to get you on the live, my brother. We got to get
yeah.
you on, King. We got to see what's going on, man. Hey, keep doing what you're doing,
Juicy, get your boy.
Miss
Get your
Juicy.
boy.
Yeah,
He's
I gotta
doing good.
take a second to shout out Miss Juicy, because I went live with I jumped on her live yesterday.
Uh-huh.
Um, and that queen be going through a lot, and they be
I
bullying,
seen I seen the comments.
they be disrespectful,
I seen the comments.
and ladies, queens, no matter what your walk is, no matter what you got going on, man, I just want to take the time to say salute,
Salute.
because I know it ain't easy, and just continuing to stay the course, and you know, for her to still have the heart that she has, just like you know what I'm saying, or you know, the Miss Summers of the world, or you know, just a lot of people, man, that have different, like, there's women out here really going through shit, man, but they stay in the course and they keeping their heads up.
Yeah.
Salute. You know, I saw my mama on here earlier. Shout out to my mom. Um, you know,
Shout out to mom.
love to my mama. You know, somebody. You know, we've had our differences, but we've been in a better space. And I'm just, you know, continuing, you know, to pray. You know what I'm saying? A lot for the women across the board, but especially like the women who are in my life. You know, like even the mothers of my children. Like just I'm
That's
praying and I'm hoping and I'm just asking the Most High for healing and everything else. You know what I'm saying? Because it's all about the bigger picture, man. But I appreciate you, D. Like
appreciate you too, Josh.
showing your true your feelings and
Mm.
being transparent and being vulnerable, man. That's what this is all about. You know what I'm saying? So God bless, Queen.
God bless you. Thank you, Josh. It's always good, and we thank you for
Yeah,
everything that you do. And I'm gonna say this because I've been saying, and I told Portia that there is a higher call that's on your life to lead people. You're called to the underdogs, so God had to take you through these trenches in order for you to really feel the people and feel the things and the emotions of the people that is gonna come to you. It's people, stuff that you're going through right now. You had to feel it before you heal it. You have to
I
feel
receive.
it before you heal it. It's a whole generation, not of just women, but men as well. Men as well. I literally see single mothers that's making phone calls to the father of their kids. Because listen, Josh has opened up the doors and the communication piece for us to be okay to heal, you know? So you had to feel all of this. You had to feel it all. So now I literally see people, I see it. I see people coming back to square one. Like, this is your village. I know we were young when we made these kids, but we're gonna come back together. Even if I'm married to somebody else and you're married to somebody else, we're gonna come together and we're gonna make sure that our children are straight.
Yeah.
So thinking not strange of all of the things that you're going through right now, because you had to feel it. You had to feel it before you can heal it. So we thank you. We salute. So I salute every hump, every bump that you've been through, because it's another level. It's another level for you. It's another level for the kids. It's another level for the women in your life. It's another level, and the people are listening. Everywhere I go, they're talking about these lives. Everywhere that I go, everywhere I go, is somebody talking about it. So we're listening, Josh, and we appreciate it. I salute. Keep doing what you do. Keep doing what you do.
Blessings, Queen. I know you got to get ready for church in the morning. Tell your pastor I ain't mean to hold you past your
My church
bedtime.
don't start. It don't start to 12:30 tomorrow evening. But
Man, y'all like y'all on the Magic City vibes, ain't
yeah, we're on the Magic
you?
City vibes. We make sure you don't even have to get. You don't have to get up. You don't have to get up early or none of that. See,
Dang, so
cool.
you can go out and still make it to church.
Yeah, I ain't going out though. I ain't going out. I ain't going out nowhere. I don't go out. I work. You see them little naked mannequins back there? I've been working.
Well, close them things, girl, for they shut Instagram shut us down. Now
Oh,
move your head to the other side so that you're blocking it. There you go. Move the camera. We don't want to catch counsel now because you got some nakedness going on back there. But yeah, get you some rest, Queen.
absolutely. Thank you,
Catch,
Josh.
catch up with y'all. Absolutely.
It's good. All right. We'll talk to you later. Y'all have a good night.
Yo. All right, beautiful people, man. Y'all be easy. Stay positive. Stay prayed up, man. Keep doing what you're doing. Miss Juicy, you crazy. I want to see that bond at the radio station on Monday. But yeah, y'all keep doing what y'all doing, man. Peace and love. I hope tonight this conversation fed somebody. I hope somebody was, you know what I'm saying, inspired or motivated or whatever, man. Y'all keep on showing up. Uh, Jimmy St. James, appreciate you. Drag Star, appreciate you. Everybody that was on, Miss Juicy, Miss Destiny Queens, G18, everybody that was on here, man. We appreciate y'all, man. Keep the congregation going. You know what I'm saying? Keep we jump on here, keep sharing, let your folks know we on deck. Let's keep building, man. So great conversation tonight, man. Love to all.